Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now, Anthony Yarde continued his comeback trail by getting a knockout victory in the 6th round against Dec Spelman. Now, this was a good fight for Anthony Yarde at this time, but he went in there with one thing on his mind and one thing only, and that was to get the knockout over Dec Spelman, to become the first one to ever do that. And he did get that knockout, and there was some controversy over the stoppage, but ultimately Dec Spelman was in a position where maybe he would have got hurt if he had continued, but still, they could have let it run a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, Anthony Yarde was stepping on him and continuously hurting Dec Spelman in that 6th round. Now, one thing that struck me about this fight is that Anthony Yarde wasn't in there to win rounds at all. I mean, he was in there loading up with power shots, trying to knock out Dec Spelman. That is what he wanted to do. He said that from the off. He wants to knock out Dec Spelman. Now, to start with, he wasn't really loading up with those punches. He was finding his range and distance, and the jab wasn't really supposed to hurt Dec Spelman, but to measure the distance for the right hand to land. You could see the way Anthony Yarde was stood, the way he was positioned, that he wanted to be throwing power shots, but still, in the early rounds, he was patient and waited to see the shots that would land. And one thing that struck me about Anthony Yarde is he has a good footwork, not fast feet. He's not got the fastest feet in boxing, but what he does have is a good positioning, meaning that he's never in a position where he cannot retreat or go on the attack. I mean, when he hurt Dec Spelman and Dec Spelman almost like dashed across the other side of the ring, that is when Anthony Yarde stepped on him, and Anthony Yarde sprinted across the other side of the ring to finish up his assault. So he doesn't have fast feet, but he has good positioning, which means that he doesn't need the fastest feet in boxing. He has the positioning there to fall back on. He positions his feet right so that if he has to go on the attack, he's ready to, and if he has to retreat, he's also ready to do that and create angles as well. And Anthony Yarde never really squares up unless he goes back to the ropes, and his feet never cross. And in addition to that, Anthony Yarde was pulling the jab quite often in this fight with Dec Spelman. He would pull the jab and then counter. Now, that's not necessarily a big power shot to knock out Dec Spelman or even really hurt him that bad, but what it does do is create doubt in the mind of Dec Spelman. And if Spelman stops throwing the jab, then he loses the ability to judge his distance with Anthony Yarde. So when Anthony Yarde was pulling the jab and countering, he was getting into the head of Dec Spelman, because Spelman was thinking, okay, I can't throw the jab because he's just going to pull it and counter. So ultimately, that is what Anthony Yarde done to get on the front foot, to push Dec Spelman back, because Dec Spelman's a big, strong guy, and at times he was forcing the action, but Anthony Yarde always had an answer. His positioning was good enough to mean that he could go back or come around to the side, and then the body shots as well were sickening that he landed on a Dec Spelman, and Anthony Yarde was strong enough and had enough power, and then Yarde found the one gap in Dec Spelman's guard, which was what Dec Spelman was doing was dropping his left hand before he was about to throw. Every time he would throw, he would drop his left hand from his guard, meaning that would leave him open to a right hand from Anthony Yarde, and that is what Yarde capitalized on. He found that right hand when Dec Spelman was about to throw his punches. It was just like a mental reset for Dec Spelman. He would drop that hand and have a look at Anthony Yarde to see where he could throw his punches and think about getting that jab off, just like a lapse in concentration. But Anthony Yarde capitalized on that. And what Anthony Yarde had done so well is he didn't just go headhunting, which probably he done too much against Kovalev when he got him hurt. He was working to the body, which was hurting Kovalev, but when he backed him up, he went headhunting. But against Dec Spelman, he didn't just do that. He varied his assault, body, head, body. And that is what you need to do when you get your man hurt, because just because you hurt them with a headshot does not mean you can't stop them to the body. Look at Callum Smith versus George Groves. Callum Smith hurt George Groves with a headshot, but ended up stopping him with a body shot. So it was important that when Anthony Yarde got Spelman hurt, to work to the body and to the head to get the stoppage. And yes, as I said before, there was some controversy about the stoppage, but ultimately Anthony Yarde was stepping on him. So I believe that if the ref had not stopped it, then Anthony Yarde would have got the stoppage anyway, moments later, maybe a round later, but ultimately that was the way the fight was going. It was a good performance from Anthony Yarde. Lyndon Arthur next, then maybe Buatsi. But let's focus on Lyndon Arthur. That is going to be a good fight between Anthony Yarde and him. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Anthony Yarde has done it again. He's back on the comeback trail, waiting next for Lyndon Arthur. Guys, drop your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.